Let's begin.
Hello, welcome to Two Guys and Their Gym Talk Show. This is a weekly live show and audio podcast. So Noel and I are here every Monday, and we are here to host a Q&A for you. So this is a great chance if you have any questions about fitness, nutrition, training, lifestyle motivation, or maybe business, social media, this is the time for you to ask your question. So we are tuning in on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram.
Do you think there will one day be a fourth place that we'll be streaming from, Alvin?
Very likely. Very likely. I can think
TikTok. And
YouTube,
there's one
TikTok.
YouTube. That's right. Yes, there's two more. I think we need another phone if we're gonna do TikTok. Anyway, but it's great. So we have people streaming in from all over. So thank you for being here. To my friends on Instagram, I see so many of you, familiar faces, regular faces on Facebook and on LinkedIn. Some of y'all comment throughout the week, send us messages. Thank you for supporting the show. We are at episode 59. 59. One more to 60. So next week is
All right.
60. And it's been a great journey. And as Alvin said, we have a Q&A today. I'm going to start off also by asking you all a question. I want to get to know you all better. We want to get to know you all better. Where are you streaming in from? Comment below on Facebook, Instagram, or LinkedIn. We can read your answers. We want to read them out. So comment two things. Okay, two questions. Okay, not just one. Two questions. One is comment where are you streaming in from, and answer this. If you could only watch one movie over and over again for the rest of your life, you're limited to one only. What movie would that be? Okay. So I'll give you all some time to think about it, because the last person I asked, they're like, "Oh, I got so many because I'm a movie goer. I'm a this, what's the word for the movie goer? I forgot." But she was like, "Oh, I got all these things. There's no way I can narrow it down to one." And so I'm going to give you all some time. But comment below. Let us know where you're streaming in from, and if you could only watch one movie for the rest of your life, what movie would that be? Alvin, tell us, what would that movie be for you?
So I'm tuning in from Kajang, and that one movie, I would say Lord of the Rings. Lord of the Rings, Lord of the Rings. I love Lord of the Rings. Sometimes when I'm having my lunch, I just go to YouTube and just click on little clips and just watch, whether it's the Two Towers, The Return of Kings, Lord of the Rings. If there's any Lord of the Rings fan, comment. I want to know. Noel, have you watched Lord of the Rings?
Yes, and you know what? You brought up YouTube, right? YouTube is so awesome because you don't have to watch the whole movie. You can watch the best parts. You can watch the best parts, right? So the YouTube is just amazing. But thank you for sharing that, Alvin. I think Lord of the Rings is an awesome movie that can be watched again and again. For me, so yes, I'm a Lord of the Rings fan also, but I'll give a different answer. I'm streaming in from TTDI, my friends, and keep those answers coming because I'm going to read them out shortly. What are we talking about? Well, we want to know where you're streaming in from, and if you could only watch one movie for the rest of your life, what would that movie be? Alvin said Lord of the Rings. I'm going to say it would be Avengers Endgame, or I said one movie, right? I'm always watching these two.
One movie.
Okay, lah. So yeah. But Alvin said Lord of the Ring. Lord of the Ring. There's so many. Okay. It's Avengers. Avengers Endgame, the last one. And again, I've watched variations of it. I'll do exactly what Alvin does, which is just go on YouTube and just watch little clips and highlights and this scene and that scene. And sometimes it just fires you up and just gets you in a certain mood. That's what
Yeah.
it does. So that would be my answer. I'm seeing some answers coming up here on Instagram. Kiwi's trying to answer also. I don't know what movie she watched. We have Claire. Hi, Claire. Claire tuning in from San Jose, California, USA. And Claire said it's the Muppet movie. You know, that is so you, Claire. You are just so full of happiness and fun and joy. And that's so you're the Muppet movie. Have you watched the Muppet movie, Alvin?
No, I've not.
I
I'm
can't
gonna
remember
Google
if
right now.
I
The
did or
Muppet.
not. Definitely worth watching. Every one of these movies that you hear today, someone says it's worth watching. Like we're actually fishing for ideas on what to watch when we are bored. Keep the comments coming. Let me see. I saw Kim say something as well. Kim is also streaming in from TTDI. Thank you, Kim, for being here. And Kim said that her movie that she would not mind watching over and over again is Crazy Rich Asians. Yes, that's true.
Wow.
True. She has already watched it over and over again, so she's not lying, and she will continue to watch it over and over again. That's a good answer. It is a nice movie. I enjoyed watching it. I watched it a couple of times, but not over and over again. Thank you for sharing. Who else? If you just tune in, my friends, if you're just streaming in, we are wanting to know where are you streaming in from and what is that one movie that you will keep watching over and over again. We have Rubini Mohan from Titi Wangsa. She says John Wick. Yes, I love
Oh,
all three of those. John Wick makes you go like, yeah, that's it. It's payback. I love that. I love those movies. Thank you for sharing that,
and
Rumini.
John Wick has a dog.
John Wick has a what?
Has a dog.
Yeah, he has a dog, but the dog dies. The, the dog dies. Someone kills it, which makes him go berserk, right?
And then I think he got a second dog, right? Someone gave him the
Did he
dog
get a
again.
did he get a second dog?
Yeah, yeah, I think he
I think he
does.
did. Hang on, I'm trying to. I seem to have lost my green screen thing on Instagram, but that's all right. Y'all can see me, so I'm in front of a green screen.
And
Um,
we talk about John Wick and dog. Kiwi's like, yep,
yeah, Kiwi wants
yep,
to go out, I think, but I'm gonna keep
yep.
her
My
here. Kiwi, come
owner,
here.
Kiwi says, Noel is just like John Wick.
Yes, leave Kiwi alone. Sumita is saying she's from Damansara Jaya, and she's also saying Lord of the Rings, awesome, or Harry Potter. Okay, both also can. I think there's a new Harry Potter movie coming out. Great. Today's question really got everyone going. So we all love our movies. That's awesome. I'm just going to quickly scroll through and see if there's any other answers that I missed. No, that's it. So keep those answers coming. And we were just briefly discussing and talking about our movies. And we have our Q&A. So that means whether
Mm-hmm.
you are streaming in from Instagram or Facebook or LinkedIn, comment below. We can see your comments and ask us not about movies, lah, but we can also if not don't ask about movies. But comment on the little question mark icon that you see, especially if you're on Instagram, and let us know what your question is. It can be anything: fitness, nutrition, mindset, training. We had some questions come in earlier. Alvin had some questions come in on his Instagram. I had a couple of questions come in on my Instagram, and we're going to talk a little bit about that. But if you all had more questions, we can talk about that as well. Okay, moving on, Alvin. What do we have next in our show for tonight?
So we are heading over to question and answer. We already have few questions coming in. If you are on Instagram and Facebook, you probably seen our Instagram story where Noel and I have ask us anything. So thank you all of you who have sent in your questions prior to this few hours before. And the first question is, what is your best tip for people who are having a hard time to commit? You want to take this first, Noel? I think I know you have a lot of passion to convince people to get them going. What
I
are
want to
your
also
best tips?
understand the question a little bit more. So when you say what's the question again? About what's the best tip for people who are having a hard time to commit to the
Commit
gym,
to
fitness?
yes, commit to gym. So let's just say someone joined Daily Muscles and are like, yeah, I want to lose weight. And after a few weeks, you find them missing class, not appearing,
Yeah,
not returning your
yeah,
calls, and then later they say, you know what, I don't think so. The gym is suitable for me.
yeah,
I'm busy.
yeah. Happens all the
What
time.
would you say to them, Noel?
Yeah, my number one tip, and whether or not they do it, this is how I would help someone also who's starting in their fitness journey, is to get involved in that person's fitness journey. So if that's you and you are wanting to start something, and to stay committed, then get someone else involved in the process. That means maybe go with a friend, maybe join the gym with a friend, or maybe when you go to the gym, talk to a trainer, make friends with a trainer, a coach, or find a gym buddy, someone else who can do this with you. Because if you're going alone, if you're driving to the gym alone after work, if you are dragging yourself there in the weekends and you say you're going to work out 3 to 4 times per week, but you are always going alone, you have no one to talk to about it. That means you come back from the gym and no one to tell what you did, what happened. Very alone, chances are it's going to be very hard to commit. Very, very hard. Even top level athletes have a coach who
Right.
holds them accountable, make sure they come for training on time. They oversleep, they're going to get a call. They don't show up for training, they're going to go talk to the parents. Like, even high level athletes have a coach to get them to stay committed. So if you and I want to get started, it's not that easy to kind of wing it. Not everyone has that kind of motivation. So my tip would be to get someone else involved in your fitness journey. Could be trainer, could be a coach, could be family member, could be your husband or wife, your spouse, uh,
Accountability buddies, huh?
accountability buddy. And nowadays, here's the cool thing: you can actually even work with people online to hold you
Right.
accountable. Like I've got people who we work with, they're not nowhere near our country, but I give them programs, and I check in with them once a week. And did they go for their training? Because they need to do what I asked them to do, and they're going to report back. So that's another way of doing it. So those are a few ways, but as you can see, all those ways involve someone else, because that's my number one tip, that you're going to get someone else to hold you accountable and to help you to stay committed. That's my
I
best
love
tip. What
that,
about you?
Noel. I love that, Noel. I know that you have strong passion with that, and you have a hashtag with that, Noel. What is your hashtag that I said, Noel? Something about never do
Don't do fitness
fitness.
alone?
Yes,
Hey,
yes, exactly. Never do fitness alone. So whenever I think of like Noel and think about fitness and think of someone who is losing their way, I'll think of that hashtag, Noel. I think that hashtag is all about you, daily muscles, heroes, fitness. Never do fitness alone. And I love that. I like that your answer comes from more external. So I'm going to share perhaps my best practice is more internal. Like if
great.
we or if you are in your fitness journey, the most important thing is you need to be very clear of where you're heading. Think of like you're a boat and you're sailing the boat. You need to know where you're going to, and you need to be focused with your direction. Imagine you want to go to a place and then halfway through, you lose track of as it. You're not going to end up in your destination. So one thing you need to do is you need to be your biggest motivator first. And how you can do that is constantly remind yourself of what you want to achieve. And I always feel that if it's really important to you, you will make it happen. If not, you make
Yeah.
excuses. Then again, come back to, when I start with my client, one of the biggest questions I ask them very early in the personal training session is what is your why? Why do you want this? And that why is something that I will constantly remind them. And I want them to tell me, I said, why are you here? And then they would tell me, I'm here because of my grandchildren. I'm here because I want to push myself. I want to find my limits also. So in the end of the day, your why you need to be reminded of on a daily basis. And I do that myself. I'm telling myself every morning, like, okay, what is my purpose today? What I want to achieve? What is my fitness goal? So that is really important. Yeah.
That,
I hope that makes sense.
yes, I love how you mentioned that, like I was more involving an external factor and yours was internal. So those two I would say would be essential. One alone would not be the best, but the main thing is, as you can see, staying committed isn't easy. It isn't
Right.
easy. If you like, otherwise everyone will be doing it. So you got to pay attention. You got to hang in there, and you got to put in some effort to stay on track and to stay committed. And great job for even asking the question. That tells us that you are researching and you are wanting to find ways to stay on track. So that's already you
Yes.
being on the right track.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
If you are tuning in right now on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, we invite you to post any questions you have for Noel and I, and we will try our best to answer your questions. And if we can't answer your questions, we'll of course refer you to. If you post your questions in a comment below, we'll be able to pin it up, and so that everyone on live stream will be able to see it and understand your situations. Now we're going to
Yeah.
head on to question number 2. How can I get started at the gym? So I'm going to put that in a scenario, assuming someone is new to a gym or planning to go back to a gym. How can this person start a routine? How can this person build a habit, right?
Very similar to there's not a
Yeah.
connection with the question before this, which talks about commitment. But
Mm-hmm.
starting is that first step. Okay, the first step. I think The first step is the hardest. The first step is the hardest. And getting started really, I'll just speak about this what's on top of my mind. Usually people struggle to start something because there's no time, not convenient, the gym's very far away. So for a start, just to start something, and assuming you want to start, the question is to start a gym, find a
Mhm.
gym or studio or whatever it is that's convenient for you. That means maybe it's on the way back home from work. Don't go sign up someplace which is only you have access to go on the weekend and it takes you half an hour to drive there. It's not gonna be ideal. Maybe you have some friends to go with, it's fun, but then if you're looking at long term, 6 months, 12 months on the road, there's some, maybe your friends are gonna give up and then it's gonna be you and then you have to go and drive alone. So I know a lot of people who find gyms that are like on the way back home from work or on the way to work. um, a lot of people's routines also have changed nowadays. People work from home, don't really
Mhm.
go to the gym anymore, go to work anymore. So that has also changed. So find something that's convenient. That'll be my first tip. Because things like traffic, timing, distance come into play and get in the way. At the end of the day, when you're tired and you're hungry and you want to go home, if it's out of the way and you just signed up for something, you're not gonna go. You're gonna
You
go
won't
home.
have strong willpower to
Very
see it through. Yeah.
That's true. You need strong willpower. So so
Yeah.
so so the location of this place matters, lah. Because there's so many gyms nowadays, and your favorite gym, you want to go there, but it's so far, and there's a place that's literally next to your office. Just try a bit harder. It may not be your favorite place,
Yeah.
but that place right next to your office may have a much better chance of you sticking to that routine. Okay, now ask for a trial at these places. So in that place that's very far away, you love that place so much, but it's very far away, ask for a trial. Most gyms have a trial, either a free trial or a paid trial. But also try not to just do one free class, because one free class just gets you sore for the next few days. You want to get some sort of trial at least for a month, a few weeks or a month, to figure out the routine, the time it's going to take. Do I get back home early enough to have my dinner and to go to bed? So get a trial. If you don't see the gym talking about a trial, ask them. I'm sure they're going to find a way to make it work. And if it's going to cost a little bit of money, I'm sure you can invest that. Try first before committing to something like a 12-month membership. In fact, a lot of
Right.
gyms nowadays have a lot of flexible options. You can cancel anytime, or they have 3-month memberships, they have 6-month memberships. And so look at smaller commitments first before committing for the 12 month. Although the 12 month, I know some gyms, I just who Penny was telling us yesterday. Was it Penny? No, I was talking to Penny this morning, and she was saying that there's a gym in Penang that closed down because of the pandemic, and they were selling people lifetime membership. So that sucks. So everyone's like, "Hey, what now? What happened to the lifetime membership?" So start your commitment slowly, even though it may cost a little bit more, but you don't want to burn a lot of money. So
Right. Do
just to
Daily
recap
Muscles
what I
have a
just said,
trial?
we do. We have a trial. We do a paid trial for a month, which
Mm.
gives you an idea. You get to try like 12 classes. You get to try PT sessions. You get to try group classes. So you really get to feel around and see what works for you. And then you make a decision. And I feel that's a much better way to do it. So to summarize what I said before I go to Alvin and ask him what are his tips for getting started, I would say is find some place that's convenient, easy to access, and get a trial first, because sometimes it may look so fancy but it may just suck, right? So get
Right.
a trial to understand and see how it fits into your routine. Those would be my top 2 tips for you. The question that we're talking about is, how can one get started at the gym? What about you, Alvin? How do you help people get started at the gym?
I think my number one advice is hire a trainer, whether is it in-house, whether is it a freelance trainer. Over my years working, starting my career in a commercial gyms, and I'm going to use commercial gym because I see a lot of people coming in and out, and I see success in clients achieving their goals when they have or engage a trainer. not
Yeah.
necessarily long term, but perhaps a trainer in the beginning to kind of show you the equipment, to show you the environment, to get you adjusted into it so that you feel comfortable. I feel that when you are being empowered, the chances of you coming back, the chances of you maintaining a routine is very, very likely, because you're empowered, you want to do it. So getting a trainer, getting a coach, joining a more semi-private group class to just get you grounded with an action plan, with a strategy, is going to, I would say, shortcut your success instead of trying to figuring out
Yeah.
yourself. You're going to save so much time, you're going to save money also by just getting professional to help you to build up the program, show you around. And when you feel that, yeah, I think I can do this, then you can just carry on by yourself. And that's how me and my clients journey. And I'm sure a lot of fitness professionals guide clients in that way. And I speak for myself. I feel that even when my clients stop engaging me, or when our contract ended, when they move elsewhere, they still kind of maintain that habit. Yeah, so that is really, really important. That would be my number one advice. Get someone to help you start with your fitness journey.
Okay. Great. We have a couple of questions that just came in on Instagram. So do you want to
Mm-hmm.
do some of those first, Alvin, before we go to the questions that
Yes,
came in
let's
earlier?
do Instagram.
Yeah. So Mongpeng, I see your question, but I also saw Rubini's question, which you typed in the comment. Alvin, I actually put it up on StreamYard already, so you can just display it. Okay, so this question is from Rubini. Her question is, our opinion on keto diet for fitness, diabetes, and longevity. There's vast research on weight loss, improve in metabolic rate, and so on. How sustainable is this diet? So, Rubini, what you're asking is the keto diet. What's our opinion? There's a lot of research out there on its benefits. How sustainable is it? Okay, I'll tell you my thoughts first, and then I'll pass it over to Alvin. I think the fact that you're asking, is it sustainable or not, kind of tells you that it's challenging, right? It's challenging. Some diets are easier to adapt in certain cultures, like you're Indian. I think it's not easy to go keto if you live in an Indian household and there's Indian food everywhere, correct? But if you lived in like America and it's like it's much easier to do there. But having said that, my opinion is that all these diets work. I also think that you should try it. There is benefits. There is research out there to show that it brings benefit. But what the point that you brought up is absolutely true. It has to be sustainable in order for you to get the benefits. Usually, what people do is it becomes a fad diet, and something they just try for a while because everyone's doing it instead of a permanent decision to go down that path. For example, to want to lose weight, and then everyone's talking about keto. Keto's the hot thing right now. So, okay, well, let's do keto. And then you buy keto this, keto that, there's keto ice cream and that, is that. And then after a while, you realize that, wait a minute, so then I can't eat Deepavali and I can't eat the rice and the mutton and all that. You can't because you said you're going keto. You can't just sometimes be keto and sometimes you can't, right? Because that's not how it works.
That's
So
not sustainable, in
it's not
fact.
sustainable already. I know it's not sustainable. Now, can you try it? Sure, try it, see how it goes. Because I know people who have also like in here in Malaysia who have tried it and they love it and they stick with it. And it's been years. They've gone keto, they've lost incredible amounts of weight. They love it, they love the energy it gives them. It works for them. It works for them. So try it. You
Mhm.
never know, right? So I'm not here to say don't try it. I'm here to say that you should try it, and also know that it can be challenging because it may be not so sustainable. But try it first and think about it, because whatever diet it is, think about it for long term as well. Like if you're a vegetarian, you don't go vegetarian just for 2 months and then okay, after that eat meat again, and then vegetarian eat meat. No, being vegetarian is a decision for many people, and sometimes it's for life. So
Mhm.
think about your diet as that as well. You go plant based, okay, great. Think about it long term, not just a few weeks, because then it just becomes a fad, like I said. So that's what I would say. Great question, Rubini. I'm sure it's on everybody's mind. I'm curious if Alvin has any thoughts
Right.
around the keto diet.
Yeah, I do. I think that, be it keto or any other diet out there, in my opinion, I feel that your diet needs to match with your training and your lifestyle. That is the most important factor. Meaning that if you're training for weight loss, if you're training for fat loss, you're training to build muscles, to improve on your health, your diet needs to match with that. And to see long-term sustainability for your lifestyle, when you can put those bigger picture into place, then I guess that will answer what sort of diet you would need to go through. Okay, and I'm going to share my advice to most of my personal training client is: number one, of course, try it, explore it, see whether it fits. And then when they come back to me, speaking from experience, say, Alvin, keto is not working, this diet is not sustainable, I will usually move them to work with either a nutritionist or just show them the basic guidelines by Precision Nutrition in terms of how to eat a wholesome diet. I would say there's carbohydrates, there's protein, there's healthy fats. And I feel that the simple thing works the best.
Yeah.
Having rice, having good quality protein, eating your avocados and nuts, these works the best because when you have all of these nutrients in your body, it's going to fuel you for your workouts. You're going to feel that you're lifting more weight, you run faster, your posture improves, you're going to feel lesser pain, you're going to sleep better. You suddenly feel your quality of life improve over the next few weeks if you were to stick on just basic, healthy, wholesome, single ingredient food. And from there on, you somewhat know already this is the diet that I want. And what diet is that? I got no name. I'll just say healthy, wholesome diet. Nothing fancy. It's a diet that you identify the type of food that you like. You are aware of all the single ingredient food, the healthy food, and you know how to mix and match to suit your lifestyle. For example, like you know that today you had an ice cream and the rest of the day you're going to eat relatively healthy, stick to the food that you know you should be eating. And vice versa, you're able to adjust accordingly. You know, you're going to have a Ramadan buffet on weekend. So on other days, you go back, all right, I know what I should be eating. That, in my opinion, is the best diet. Far better than any other diet because it's customizable, adjustable to you. So that's how I will put it.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's great. I hope that answers the question for you, Rubini. It gives you an idea. And let us know how it goes when you start the keto diet. Maybe you are already doing keto. Let us know how you're doing. Thank you for your question. Anyone else got questions as well, or a follow-up question based on what we're talking about? Just comment below.
Mm-hmm.
There's one more question here on Instagram that I noticed, and I'm gonna pin that up. This one comes from Mong Peng. It's should we change our workout routine style as we age, like less cardio or lighter weights? Very interesting question. Not
Oh, I
something
like
that
these
people
questions.
think about. I hope I
Let
can
me
answer your. Yeah, you go ahead. Go ahead.
let,
Yes,
let me go first. I love this. I get asked a lot,
perfect.
like with clients with this, like, Alvin, you'll be giving me the same movement, same exercise for the past 2 3 weeks, lah. But I see lah, Instagram lah, they are changing and doing this dynamic movement. So fun lah, When can we change ours? So I will explain to them that your workout will change according to your progression, according to your goal. For example, if you want to run a half marathon by year end, so that gives us about 6 to 8 months from today to be able to reach that goal. And if that goal is marathon, it means that you need to improve on your stamina, your endurance, lower body strength, make sure there's no muscle imbalance. The next 6 months, your program, your exercise is going to focus surrounding and supporting those goals. So meaning that you're going to do some stretching, you're going to do squats, lunges, basic lower body compound exercises to make you stronger. And then you're going to do some cardios because you are going to run a marathon. So you want to mimic the movements, which is running. So your cardio would be running. And that would be throughout until you achieve your goal and say, you know what, Alvin, I want to have another goal. Right. I hope that answers.
Actually, her question
Yeah.
goes a little bit deeper, as in like, so as you age, so that means like now you're
Oh,
30 years
okay.
old. What if you're 50 years old? Should you be training differently if you're older?
Yeah, yeah. Okay, let me add on. So depends on your goal also. Depends on your goal. So if 50 you want to run a marathon, it would be the same as what you do on 30. It would be the same. Yeah. I guess it will only be different if you are starting at 30 and if you are starting at 50 or 60. Because when you start, the training principle, the foundation, it's going to be different. For example, if you start at 50, you might want to use a light to moderate weight to begin. Whereas if you are younger, you can perhaps start with a little bit, I wouldn't say heavy, I would say moderate weight, and you will progress faster as compared to your 50. In my opinion, training, exercise, movements will go as your training goals. And the most important thing is progressive overload. As long as you are feeling stronger, you are lifting more weights, doing more reps with a movement, it should sustain for a period of time until you reach plateau. The last thing you want to do is to change the exercise every week. People have this thought, in order to build more muscles, I need to keep my body guessing. No, you don't. Your body don't need to guess. You need to do the same movements over the next few sessions, next few weeks, so that your body register the movement, so that your body knows what to do, adapted to the weight before you change it. Right. What's
Yeah.
your thought on this, Noel?
I think there's a natural tendency to feel that as we get older, let's slow things down, let's chill out, let's not do too much. That's the general perception that people
Mm.
have, right? Um, let's not do things that are risky. But then again, you hear about people who when they're 55, like how old is Mike Tyson? And then he's like back in action and like in great shape now and all that. So you hear
Mm.
about people who do these kinds of things as well, right? So there's a few things that happen as we get older. Um, as we get older, we tend to lose our sense of balance. So compared to like a 20-year-old versus a 60-year-old, even though that person is regularly training, the 20-year-old may have a better sense of balance. So something to take into consideration. Um, what else can happen? You can also lose a little bit of flexibility as you age. Your tendons, ligaments tend to degrade over time. Your stamina, your energy levels can also be a little bit um, not as great compared to a 20-year-old when you feel like you're at your peak. But here's the thing: whatever it is that you're doing now, all the training, the exercise, the programs help slow all of these down. So like coming back to what Alvin was saying just now, we keep doing what we're doing, and if the body becomes starts you start to lose muscle mass as you reach a certain age and your body wastes away your muscle. But if you're training, you're going to hold on to it. So what you don't want to do is to like, okay, I'm 50 years old now. I'm going to stop all my strength training and just go and do Tai Chi in the park, which nothing wrong with Tai Chi, by the way. But what happened to the strength training, right? And then you're going to
Right.
see huge losses in strength. You're going to lose your muscle and everything. So I don't think you need to significantly change anything. Keep training, keep doing what you enjoy. Know that exercise and intentional movement and taking care of your health and your fitness is going to ensure that when you are at this age that you're concerned about, what is it, 40, 50, 60, 70, you are going to be at your best. Compared to someone who's not training at all, never goes and works out, doesn't do anything, sits on the chair all day in front of the computer, and they are 60, 70, 80, they're going to be walking around with a walking stick, or they're going to struggle to move because they're not moving. Okay, so it's going to improve your quality of life. Now, having said that, don't lie, at 60 years old, you want to start doing gymnastics, right? You've never trained. Why go and do something like that? So wherever you're at right now, keep doing what you're doing. I hope they kind of answered your question. To bluntly say it, I believe no, we don't really need to change anything significantly just because we are a certain age. If anything, everything that you're doing now is going to help you live your best quality of life when you are at that age.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Maybe I just want to add on one
Yes.
thing
Go
because
ahead.
it reminds me of a question a client asked me. Regardless of your age, strength training have tremendous benefit for almost everyone. So if you are 60 years old and you're thinking of, let me start exercise, I highly recommend you to start lifting weights. Now, when I said lifting weights, I'm not going to ask you to deadlift 40 kilos. I'm going to ask you to pick up the dumbbell and do basic movements that you, at the age of 60, your mom at the age of 70, is able to do. That could be holding 2 water bottles and doing a shoulder press, which is a very fundamental movement patterns that every human is doing. Because strength training is going to add years to your life.
Yeah.
Put it that way.
Great. Thank you,
Nice.
Alvin. That you really summed it up. Awesome. Let me quick check. Thanks, Mong Ping, for asking that question. Anyone else got questions? Please keep them coming. Oh wow, it's 9:39 already, and here we are. We thought that the day would be quick. Let me see. Any other questions on Instagram? No. Okay. Do we have any other questions? Anything else that were asked earlier, Alvin?
Oh, yes, there's a question here, and it's how to prevent muscle loss when fasting.
Ah,
Yeah. So I think right now it's Ramadan, so people are fasting, and someone asked, how can I prevent muscle? How can I stop losing muscles when I fast? So maybe I share a little bit first, Noel,
yeah.
and then I'll pass it to you.
Mm.
And I'm going to share more on in terms of training. So I guess when we are fasting, whether is it Ramadan, which is right now, or if you are doing intermittent fasting, fasting indirectly puts you in a calorie deficit if fat loss is your goal, simply because your window of eating is lesser. There are fewer hours that you're going to consume food, drink water, hence you're going to get lesser calories in. That's why many people use fasting as a mean for fat loss purpose. I've yet to meet anyone says I want to build muscles and I'm going to do fasting. It doesn't work that way because building muscles you need to eat more. So fasting is easier to achieve calorie deficit. So what happens when you're in a calorie deficit is chances of you being in a catabolic state is higher and longer. Therefore, your body will break down muscle tissues. So one way that you can prevent that, I'm going to share perhaps in terms of training point, and then Noel can share in terms of nutrition point. Training point is you want to maintain lifting weights. You want to continue your strength workout. You want to do your compound movements. You want to lift very similar to what you have been lifting before. So for example, if you're doing a 40 kilo squat, when you're fasting, you want to try your best to maintain close to 40 kilo, if not similar to 40 kilos, so that your body adapted to that weight, so that your body is telling that, hey, I need my muscles to maintain, to lift this amount of weight. So your body is going to preserve, say, we're not going to burn these muscles. They are precious. They're going to help us lift these 40 kilos. They're going to help us with our next workout. And lifting weight strength training is going to preserve muscles. So that is on training's perspective. Strength training is going to preserve muscle. If you're not doing any strength training and you are fasting, hoping to lose fat, you want to make sure that you lose fat, not muscles. Because a lot of people, when during fasting, they lose weight, but most of the weight comes from water and muscle. Yeah, so you want to make sure that it comes from water and fat, not muscles, by doing strength training.
Yeah. So that's the training aspect of it. And it's essential. So training is essential to help your body hold on to the muscle. So when during the fasting period, or whether you're not fasting, even if you're in a caloric deficit, if you're losing weight, actually, like Alvin said, you're actually losing water, you're losing muscle, you're losing fat. It's very hard if you don't think about it, if you don't take care of your nutrition, what you're eating and your training, you're just going to lose weight. That weight is what? Let's say you lost 2 kgs. Some of it is muscle, some of it is fat. We think it's pure fat, but it's always both. So it's really a matter of minimizing the muscle loss. It's very hard to just purely 100% all that muscle I'm going to keep and only lose fat. Doesn't happen. You're always going to lose both. It's just that you need to keep your training on point so that you're losing more fat, less muscle, and nutrition on point. What do I mean by nutrition? I think the biggest culprit is usually not getting enough protein. Your body doesn't store protein like how it stores other nutrients. It needs its protein. So when you're consuming enough protein, again, during fasting, it makes it harder because you have a few hours to eat. But in that few hours, are you getting sufficient protein intake? No, a little harder. So naturally, during the fasting month, perhaps you're going to find that you may lose a little bit more muscle mass simply because maybe your training has changed. You're not holding on to muscle, and your nutrition is a challenge. You're not able to eat sufficient protein to support your fitness goals, which is to hold on to muscle and lose the fat, because you only have a few hours to eat, right? So that's what I would say. I think just remember that being hungry and fasting is not an emergency during Ramadan, especially. We don't fast to lose weight, right? I believe the
Yeah.
purpose of fasting, there is a religious purpose behind it. I think it's totally okay to just focus on that aspect of it. Stay active, eat well, continue your training. It's just a month. After that, get right back on track. And as like Alvin mentioned last week, which I really remembered, is that very often people after a fasting period, you think you're going to be weaker when you go to the gym. You think you lost your gains during the fasting month. You go back to the gym and you surprise yourself. Suddenly you come back stronger. Suddenly you look better in the mirror. You'll just be surprised how the body adapts and bounces back. I hope that
All right.
helps answer that question.
Lovely. Thank you all for the questions. We're going to look through and see if there's any questions on Instagram, looking through
Nope.
Facebook and LinkedIn.
Rika says thank you. Great. I have glad you found that useful, Rika. And if anyone like just tuned in as well, drop us a comment. Let us know where are you streaming in from. And Elvin and I were asking earlier, like if you have a movie that if you can only watch one movie for the rest of your life, what would that movie be? If you haven't answered that question, drop a comment below and tell us what that is. We want to know. Otherwise, if there's no questions, we will start to wrap up the show as well. Unless I think do we have another segment actually? I'm not sure. Alvin's the boss.
Yes, we do. Now, before we go to the next segment, all the links and resources mentioned in today's live will be on the Facebook version. So someone asked about keto diet. Is it sustainable? Is it useful? Noel and I have pasted a couple of links from Precision Nutrition. Yes, Precision Nutrition is one credible resource or website that you should always go for to look for any nutrition questions. So we paste all these links on the Facebook version in the comment below. And anything that we find that can help to answer you or add on to your questions with our answers, we're going to put all the links and resources on the Facebook version. So always remember to go back to the Facebook live videos and just see the comment section. You'll be surprised that there are 3 to 4 like links there right now, so do check that out. And our next segments, wow, we got 2 segments today. I thought it's just Q&A. No, we got a little show and tell. I was like,
That's
yay, welcome back this segment. So show and tell, if you are new here, show and tell is where we show you something and tell you a little story behind it, tell you what is this thing is all about. So I'm going to pass the floor to Noel. What do you have for us today, Noel?
Yeah, something I bought. And yes, it has something to do with food, as always, but it's not food yet. That means I have to put it through a few stages before it comes edible. Okay, so I bought this really cool thing from iHerb. I'm quite excited to try it, but I haven't got to doing it. I bought this a couple of weeks ago. This is a sprouting jar. You can see that. It's glass. It's got a stainless steel mesh at the top, so it lets air in. It also allows me to drain water. So what am I going to put inside? I'm going to put seeds, which you can also buy from iHerb. It comes in little packets. So little seeds. So what seeds did I get? It says, grown in the USA, clover, fenugreek, and radish seeds. So it comes with instructions. It tells you what to do. You're supposed to measure a small amount of the seeds, put it into the jar. The water needs to be clean water, not tap water. Put in the jar, and then I believe there's like a 4 to 5 day process. It's a 4 to 5 day process where the hang on, something's gone crazy with my video. Do you see that, Alvin? Just gonna quickly adjust that setting.
Yeah, I guess the
It's
setting
something
just
that
spotted.
there we go. It's
Yeah,
something to do with the glass jar and what it
correct. It
reflected or
just senses
something.
the color different. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah. Okay, so I better not hold up the jar too often. So it's the seeds. The seeds go into the jar, and then I follow the instructions, and then I pour in the water, and then you're supposed to change the water every 1 or 2 days, and then put it in a dark place. And on the fifth day, you bring it out to light, and then it turns green. What comes out? These are actually sprouts. Have you been to the supermarket or the grocery store, and they come in those little like boxes, and they have like alfalfa sprouts. They have
Yeah.
broccoli sprouts that I've seen. So these are the sprouts. But those are like crazy expensive. It's like, I don't know, like 12, 13 ringgit or
Yes.
something for that. This is, I have enough sprouts to feed the whole of Tamantun, I think. At least the whole few streets here. And I can grow my own and I can just harvest it. And then when I'm done, and I can just keep making my own batch. It was not expensive at all. This whole thing, it comes with free shipping, cost me less than 60 ringgit for the whole thing. The jar is super cheap. It's just the seeds. And yeah, there are different kinds of seeds. It has to be sprouting seeds. I mean, these seeds can actually grow. I'm not just buying broccoli seeds. It's actually seeds for growing. You have to look for that. It will specifically say sprouting seeds. If you buy any other seeds, like then it won't grow. Okay, you got to specifically look for that. So I'll keep you updated when I do it. I'll do it this week. So if you're following me on my social media, you will see me grow my sprouts, and I'm looking forward to seeing how it tastes like.
Oh,
Yeah, that's my
nice.
show
So
and
we're all
tell.
gonna head over to TTDI, Noel. So you're gonna pick up the new
Sure,
alfalfa
sure,
wholesaler.
sure. Bring your bread and sandwiches, and I will put it in between, and you can like eat it.
There you go. So that's Noel's invitation to all of us. Yeah. Head over to Noel's Instagram, and Noel's Instagram sometimes shows certain flowers, certain seeds. And sometimes I feel it's quite educational. I'm learning new plants and
There you
flowers and
go.
vegetables I never knew. So
Yeah.
Noel Instagram. Right. With that being said, I don't see any questions. We're going to wrap it up and saying thank you for all of your questions. Thank you for reaching out to us. And if you do have any questions or you're watching this live after recorded, feel free to send us any questions, send us any message throughout the week. And we wish you well. And any last word from you, Noel?
Yeah, have a great week, everybody, and we'll see you all here next Monday. Stay in touch.
Bye.
Bye.